Listen to me carefully. Everything you've been told about men and love is a lie. You might think men fall in love because of beauty, but that's not true. You might believe it's because of sex, but that's wrong too. It's not even because of effort, although that's closer, but still not quite right. Men don't fall in love because they sleep with you. Men don't fall in love because you're always there, proving your worth. No, men fall in love when they feel something they can't find anywhere else. Let me say that again. Men fall in love when a woman makes them feel something they can't experience anywhere else in the world. It's not validation, it's not desperation, and it's not control. It's a feeling so rare, it shakes them to their core. A man falls in love when he sees you as the one person who makes him feel understood, but not chased, desired but not smothered. He falls in love when he knows deep down that you're the kind of woman who would walk away if he doesn't show up completely. Because here's the truth. Men don't value what's handed to them on a silver platter. They value what they have to work for. A man falls in love when he realizes that you're different. You're not the one waiting by the phone, begging for attention. You're living in your own world, thriving, growing, evolving, and that's when he wakes up. That's when he sees what's right in front of him. That's when he falls, because love isn't about being everything to a man. It's about being the one thing he's terrified of losing. Now, let me ask you, are you that woman? Or are you still playing small? Men don't fall in love the way you think they do. They don't fall in love just because you're beautiful. They don't fall in love just because you're always there, answering their calls, making them feel important. They don't even fall in love because you give them everything they want. That's the lie you've been sold. That's the illusion keeping you stuck, confused, wondering why he pulls away, why he loses interest, or why he doesn't feel the same way you do. A man falls in love when he feels something he can't find anywhere else. It's not about validation, not about comfort, not about control. He falls in love when he experiences an emotion so deep, so electrifying, that it shakes him. It's a force bigger than logic, bigger than attraction, bigger than anything he can understand. It's not a decision, it's an instinct. Everywhere he goes, the world is filled with expectations. Be successful. Be strong. Be the provider. Be the man. And so, he goes through life wearing a mask, hiding his true self, playing the role the world expects of him. He meets women who admire him, adore him, try to prove they're worthy of his love, and still, something feels off. Something's missing, but he can't explain it. He can't put it into words. Then one day, he meets a woman who doesn't just see him. She makes him feel. It's not because she gives him attention. It's not because she flatters him. It's not because she follows all the rules of how to make a man love you. It's because, in her presence, something awakens in him. Something deep. She makes him feel seen, but not in a way that makes him comfortable. She makes him question himself. She challenges him without even trying. She moves through life with a force so undeniable that he can't help but notice. And that moment, when his world shifts, when something inside of him stirs, that's when a man begins to fall. You see, love isn't about logic. It's not about effort. It's not about checking all the right boxes. Real love is about emotional impact. A man can have the most beautiful, devoted woman in the world and still not fall in love, not because she's not enough, but because she doesn't trigger the depth of emotion he needs to feel that pull, that fire, that undeniable feeling that he can't let her go. When a man falls in love, it's not because he makes a decision to. It's because something inside of him won't give him a choice. It's because when he's with her, the world feels different. The air is different. The silence is different. He's different. And he doesn't even understand why. He just knows that he needs more of it. But here's the hard truth. Most women never get to that place, not because they aren't amazing, but because they're too busy trying to be what they think a man wants. They play the game. They shrink themselves. They say the right things. They give too much. They overcommit. They over-explain. They try to love him into loving them. And in doing so, they strip away the very thing that would make him fall. A man doesn't fall in love with a woman who hands him her soul on a silver platter. He doesn't fall in love with convenience. He doesn't fall in love with predictability. He falls in love with the one thing he can't control, the one thing he can't explain, the one thing he knows deep in his bones he'll never find again. And that woman, she doesn't chase. She doesn't beg. She doesn't need to prove anything. She is the experience. She is the storm. She is the moment he realizes he's no longer in control. And when that happens, he'll do anything, to make sure he never loses her. A man doesn't value what comes too easily. He doesn't cherish what he didn't have to fight for. If you hand him your love on a silver platter, if you bend over backwards to prove your worth, if you rearrange your life just to fit into his, he won't see it as a blessing. He'll see it as something that costs him nothing. And anything that costs nothing is taken for granted. Think about it. The things people value most in life, the things they fight for, bleed for, sweat for, are the things they had to earn. Success, respect, power, even love. When something is handed to you without effort, it loses its significance. That's human nature. And men, they're wired to pursue, to chase, to conquer. That's not just some cliché, it's biology, psychology, and reality. A man doesn't truly fall for the woman who's always available, always giving, always proving. He falls for the woman who makes him step up, who makes him realize that if he doesn't show up fully, he could lose her. That's the woman who makes his heart race. That's the woman who makes him rethink everything. Because here's the truth no one tells you. When you give too much, too soon, too easily, you strip away the very thing that makes a man desire you. It's not because he's cruel. It's not because he wants to hurt you. It's because he's wired to value what he has to work for. If he doesn't have to earn your love, your time, your presence, he won't feel the same intensity for you. And I know what you're thinking, but I'm just being kind. I'm just showing him I care. I just want to make him happy. That's the mistake. Because in your mind, love means giving. Love means effort. Love means showing up fully. But in a man's mind, love means something different. It means wanting. It means pursuing. It means feeling like he might lose you if he doesn't give you his all. So many women think they have to do more, be more, give more, to make a man love them. They think if they just show him how amazing they are, he'll wake up one day and realize he's in love. But that's not how it works. A man doesn't fall in love with effort. He falls in love with the feeling that he might lose something he deeply desires. Look around at the relationships that last, the love that's unbreakable, the women who are cherished beyond words. They're not the ones who gave everything away for free. They're the women who made a man rise to the occasion, who made him show up, who made him prove to himself and to her that he was willing to go all in. Because when a man has to earn you, he sees you differently. You're not just another option. You're not just another woman who's there for convenience. You're the woman who makes him think twice about everything. You're the one he never wants to lose. The rare jewel, the one thing a man knows he can't replace, is what makes him stay. It's not guilt, obligation, or comfort. It's the deep, undeniable understanding that you are valuable. He had to fight to have you, and that makes all the difference. When a man fights for something, when he invests in it, when he steps up and gives his best, that's when he truly treasures it. That's when he holds it close. That's when he does everything in his power to ensure he never loses it. A man doesn't fall in love with the woman who needs him. He falls in love with the woman who doesn't. The woman who is full of love and life, so consumed by her own passions, so deeply grounded in who she is that his presence is a privilege, not a necessity. She's the woman who walks into a room and owns it, not by trying, but because her energy is undeniable. She's the woman who doesn't seek approval, doesn't beg for attention, and doesn't shrink herself to fit into his world. That's the woman who captures his soul. Men don't chase women who are just waiting to be chosen. They chase the women who are already in motion, already moving towards something greater than love itself. A man notices a woman who is independent, thriving, and completely whole within herself, and he feels something rare, respect. That respect turns into admiration, and that admiration turns into desire. And that desire, that's what makes him fall. Because here's something nobody tells you. Love isn't about filling a void. It's not about fixing loneliness. It's not about needing someone to complete you. A man doesn't want to be your savior. He doesn't want to be the reason you exist. He doesn't fall for the woman who makes him her entire world. He falls for the woman who has a world of her own. It's her world that makes her magnetic. It's her world that makes him crave her. And here's the mistake many women make. They meet a man, they begin to like him, and suddenly everything becomes about him. Their schedule bends for him. Their time revolves around him. Their happiness depends on him. At first, he might enjoy it, maybe even soak it all up. But deep down, something changes. The excitement fades. The challenge disappears. The energy that once pulled him in? It's gone. Because now, he no longer feels like he's stepping into something extraordinary. Instead, he feels like he's being handed something that requires no effort, no risk, no mystery. A man doesn't value what is given to him freely. He values what he has to earn. And a woman who is confident, independent, and fully in love with her own life? That's the woman he knows he has to work for. That's the woman who is not waiting by the phone, not hoping for his attention, not desperate for his love. That's the woman who could walk away if he doesn't show up as the man she deserves. And that realization? That's what makes him step up. That's what makes him put in the effort. That's what makes him look at her and think, I can't lose this. Because men don't fall in love with women they can have without effort. They fall in love with women who make them better, who make them chase, who force them to rise to a higher standard. And when a woman has that energy, that unshakable confidence, that presence that says, I am enough with or without you, a man has no choice but to see her differently. She is not an option. She is not a temporary thrill. She is not replaceable. She is the rarest thing he has ever encountered. The thought of losing her? That's what makes him fall, because he knows deep in his soul that a woman like her doesn't come twice. A man doesn't fall in love because you love him. He doesn't fall in love because you give him your time, your body, your loyalty. He doesn't fall in love because you're always there, always available, always ready to do whatever it takes to make him happy. A man falls in love when he realizes, deep in his gut, that you are the one thing he cannot afford to lose. The moment that fear hits him, the moment he understands that you are not a woman who waits, begs, or pleads, that's when everything changes. Because here's the brutal truth. A man does not commit to something he isn't afraid to lose. If he knows you'll always be there, no matter what, if he knows you will always forgive, always compromise, always stay, even when he gives you the bare minimum, he will never give you his all. Not because he's a bad person, not because he doesn't care, but because human nature doesn't work that way. We don't treasure what we think will always be there. We treasure what we know is rare. What we know could slip through our fingers if we don't hold on tight. And that's the mistake so many women make. They think being irreplaceable means being the most loving, the most giving, the most understanding. They think if they show him unconditional love, he'll wake up one day and realize she's the best thing that ever happened to him. But that's not how it works. A man doesn't fall in love with comfort. He falls in love with the fear of losing something extraordinary. He falls in love when he knows, without a doubt, that if he doesn't step up, if he doesn't give you his best, you won't stick around just because you love him. He has to feel that his place in your life is not guaranteed. He has to feel that if he stops showing up, if he stops putting in the effort, if he starts treating you like an afterthought, you won't wait for him to wake up. He has to know that you are not a woman who tolerates half love, half effort, or half commitment. That realization shakes him. It wakes him up. It makes him see you in a way he has never seen any woman before, not as a convenience, not as someone who's just there, but as a force he cannot afford to lose. A man does not fall in love with a woman who sacrifices herself for him. He falls in love with a woman who knows her worth so deeply that she refuses to settle for anything less than a man who is all in. The woman who knows that love is not about waiting, hoping, or proving. Love is about mutual effort, mutual respect, and mutual desire. The woman who understands that the right man will never put her in a position where she has to beg for his time, his affection, or his commitment. And that's where the power lies. Not in trying to be good enough for him, not in proving that you're the perfect woman, not in doing everything right. The power lies in being the woman who chooses herself first. The woman who knows walking away is always an option. The woman who doesn't cling to a man who won't fight for her. Because when a man sees that, when he feels that, when he knows you are a woman who will not lower her standards just to keep him around, he has no choice but to step up. He has no choice but to fall. Because the truth is, men don't fall in love with women who stay no matter what. They fall in love with the women they can't imagine their life without. The women they respect. The women they know they have to work for. The women who don't just give their love away, but make sure it's being received by a man who truly deserves it. That's what makes a man afraid to lose you. And that fear, that's what makes him love you in a way he's never loved before.